When you think of Italy, what comes to mind? Probably the classics, right? Ancient ruins, amazing food, maybe some high fashion. But what if I told you that underneath all that, there's a really complex new reality taking shape? So we're going to dive right into the data and uncover the surprising story of what's really going on in modern Italy. Okay, let's kick things off with a little quiz. Think about the G7 nations, the world's biggest advanced economies. Now, which one of those do you think just leapfrogs the UK in wealth per person? I'm talking GDP per capita here. The answer, well, it might surprise you. Yep, it's Italy. For the first time since way back in 2001, Italy's GDP per person has actually edged past the UK's. Now look, the margin is tiny, but the symbolic shift, that's huge. We haven't seen an economic picture like this in over 20 years. So you're probably asking, how on earth did that happen? And honestly, it's not a simple case of one economy taking off while the other stalls. Nope. The real story is way more complicated, and it really gets at a central tension that's playing out in Italy's economy right now. Believe it or not, one of the biggest reasons for this shift is demographics. See, Italy's population has actually been shrinking, while the UK's has been growing. So if you've got fewer people to divide the economic pie between, well, everyone's slice looks a little bigger, right? It's kind of a growth by numbers situation, helped along by things like targeted EU recovery funds. But here's the thing. That headline number looks great, but it's hiding a massive, self-inflicted wound on the economy. How massive? 110 billion euros. That's how much the Italian economy is estimated to lose every single year because of one single problem. And what's that problem? It's the country's own legal system, a tangled, chaotic mess. I mean, this quote from an analysis just nails it. They say the country is struggling with a system that's drifting into almost Kafkaesque absurdity. You can't make this stuff up. And this isn't just some vague complaint. You can actually measure it. Get this, 85% of sentences in Italian law are longer than the 25-word limit for clarity. And every 100 words has, on average, more than 4 cross-references to other laws. It's a maze. This isn't just annoying, it's a brick wall for investment and innovation. And the craziest part? 2/3 of this mess was created in just the last 30 years. Okay, so that's the bad news. But it would be a huge mistake to think this is just a story about problems. Because on the complete flip side, Italy is a hotbed for some incredible, truly forward-thinking innovation. And this paints a totally different picture of the country. Let's start with a genuine wonder material, graphene. Seriously, this stuff is like something out of science fiction. It's a layer of carbon that's only 1 atom thick, but it's ridiculously strong, super flexible, and an amazing conductor of heat and electricity. And now, an Italian research institute is using it to completely rethink something we all take for granted, how we heat our homes. So what do? They created a paint infused with graphene. The idea is so simple, it's brilliant. You literally just paint it on your wall, hook it up to an electrical outlet, and boom. Your entire wall becomes a radiator, putting out this gentle infrared heat. Forget bulky radiators, you just have a warm wall. And the results? They're huge. We're talking up to 40% less energy consumed compared to your standard radiator. Think about that. It's not just about saving money on your bills. This could completely change how we design the spaces we live in. Okay, so we've gone from the walls inside our homes to the very ground beneath our feet. And this next project, it's even more ambitious. Italy is literally building a digital twin of the entire country, a living, breathing, evolving map of its own soil. How are they doing it? With all the cool stuff, LiDAR, satellite imaging, AI, you name it. This virtual copy of the country is going to give them a level of detail we've never seen before. Can you imagine being able to predict a landslide before it happens, or planning a new highway with a perfect model of the land? This is about managing everything, from water to farming to city planning in a much, much smarter way. It's basically national infrastructure for the 21st century. All right, so we've looked at some serious future tech. Now let's switch gears and talk about one of Italy's most timeless and, let's be honest, most valuable assets, that incredible coastline. This is where classic beauty translates directly into cold, hard cash. And when I say valuable, I mean staggering. Take a little fishing village like Portofino. A vacation home there can cost you almost 23,000 euros per square meter. That's not a typo. And this market is fueled by international buyers who are often just paying in cash. It's a whole other level. Then you've got the cruise industry, which is just a monster. For 2025, they're expecting 15 million cruise passengers. And to put that in perspective, they're arriving on 5,500 separate ships. That sheer volume makes Italy the undisputed king of cruise destinations in the Mediterranean. So who's running this multi-billion-dollar show? Well, it's pretty much a two-horse race. You've got the Italian-born giant MSC, and then you have the Carnival Group. Between them, they control almost two-thirds of the entire market. They basically own the seas. Okay, so we've covered high-tech and high-end tourism. For this last part, let's bring it all together and see how Italy is using its two most famous assets, its culture and its education. Or, as you might call it, its brains and beauty. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating, because the data shows a direct link between art and money. Check this out. Between 2015 and 2022, Italian companies that actually invested in art saw their productivity grow 71%. Companies that didn't, only 53%. That is a massive 18-point difference. It's wild. So, why? What's going on here? Well, business leaders say it's not just about having pretty things on the wall. They say it builds a stronger company culture, it improves their brand, and for some, it's even a real tool for innovation. It just goes to show you, in Italy, culture isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a genuine, measurable economic advantage. All right, let's talk about the brains part of the equation. What you study really, really matters for your paycheck in Italy. No surprise, STEM degrees, especially things like chemical or nuclear engineering, put you at the top of the pile right away. But here's a twist. Medical degrees actually start out earning a little less than the national average. And if you're in the humanities, well, there's a pretty big salary gap you've got to deal with. But it's not just what you study, it's also where. The data's clear. Grads from those specialized polytechnic universities come out on top salary-wise. Private university grads are next, then state universities. And the reason is pretty simple, right? These places have tight industry connections and smaller classes, which just gives their students a massive head start when they hit the job market. So after all that, we're left with this huge question. Italy is a country of incredible contrasts, isn't it? On one hand, you have this world-class innovation and this unbelievably rich culture. On the other, you have this bureaucracy that's just crippling. So which one wins out? Which force is going to define Italy's future? Honestly, that next chapter is still being written.